Good afternoon and welcome to round 2 of the HART Sapphire series, live from Mackay Basketball Stadium, where we have the QUT Wildcats up against the Northern Rays in the Northern Rays' first hit-out for the 2019 season. Joining me today in commentary, I have Trish McHugh here from Mackay. My name's Richard McInnes. So two teams today, QUT Wildcats and Northern Rays. QUT coming off a draw last week against Brisbane North Cougars. And the Northern Rays, as I said, playing their first game for the season. So a very, well, after one round, a fairly spread points table with Jets and USC Thunder out on top with 2 wins last week and the 2 draws with QUT Wildcats and Brisbane North Cougars sitting in the mid-table. Unfortunately, Tigers and Bond University Bullsharks yet to get off the mark. The rest of the fixtures this weekend, we've got Tigers taking on USC Thunder on Tuesday night and the Brisbane North Cougars against the Jets again on Tuesday night at the Queensland State Netball Centre.
Both of those games should be good to watch, Richard.
They will. They'll be, yeah.
Considering the scores from from round 1.
Absolutely. They'll be hotly contested games, those ones. So our teams today being called onto the court as we speak. Obviously you'll see Kimberly Jenner there playing for the Northern Rays today with the Netball World Cup coming up shortly. There's a 4-week break in the Suncorp Super Netball competition, so a number of the SSN players are playing for their Sapphire Series clubs this weekend, so it's great to see Kim, who's a local Townsville girl, playing for the Northern Rays.
We're also back in the Northern Rays team. We have a local girl, Zoe McIntyre. So it's great for her to be playing in front of her former home crowd.
Absolutely. And we've got Brooke Williams missing from the Northern Rays team today. She's away as co-captain of the Samoan team heading to the Netball World Cup. Equally, the QUT Wildcats are today without Lenora Missa, who's also in the Samoan team to the World Cup. So some high-quality players not here, but in the QUT lineup today you'll see 2 Maimais there with Gemma Maimai, the Firebird centre, playing for Wildcats alongside younger sister Lisa, who is our Queensland Under-19 representative this year. Wildcats with a very impressive lineup. Riley Batchelor-Dor, Under-17 state captain this year and nationally TID'd. Also looking for a big game from her. Moments away from centre pass here. Umpires today, Jessica Lakeman and Claire Johnson. And we're just waiting for the umpires now and the initial centre pass to get us underway. Good crowd rolling in here behind us. Obviously they're sitting behind the camera position here, so you can't see them on the screen, but we have a stand full of young players here. A lot of the Mackay rep teams are here in preparation for the Nissan State Age Championships, which kick off at Pine Rivers next Saturday morning, July 6, and run through until Tuesday, July 9. 260 teams contesting the Nissan State Age Championships this year, which is the biggest event ever. It's about 2,500 players there for 4 days. Nearly 1,800 games in netball. Here we go.
And so we start. Oh, a bit of a fumble there, but first shot. And she's a penalty.
So
Great
Chantel
start.
Tikatau, who gets the Northern Rays off to a nice start at their first goal in the Sapphire Series for 2019. So chatting to Northern Rays head coach Gillian Joyce just before.
Intercept. Good work by the goalkeeper. There were a lot of low passes last week for Wildcats feeding shooters, so hopefully the Rays will have done a bit of homework.
I'm sure they will have. Gillian Joyce, head coach of the Northern Rays, very thorough with her preparation. Really keen today to do as much as they can to slow down the pace of the ball down court from the Wildcats, who boast.
Nice intercept there.
Yeah, the Wildcats potentially a very quick side through court, as we're seeing there with the 2 Maimais and Alita Vave dynamic on their feet.
And a clean shot. Nice work.
Yeah, Riley Batchelor loves to shoot from range and very confident. Shot very well last week.
the uniforms. I noticed last week when Cougars were playing Wildcats, uniforms were a very similar colour, but it's great to see first hit out for the Rays. Their uniform.
Yeah, they look good. It's a great design. Emu Sports are working with the Northern Rays up here in Townsville
great defensive
put
pressure there
together. And Alicia Adams under the post and converts there.
Doesn't miss.
No, Alicia's been around for a little while now. Formerly with the Gold Coast teams for many years. Was Division 2 Player of the Year last year in the Queensland State Netball League, and has followed head coach Paula Stewart.
Ball placement not quite enough then.
Yeah, Alicia's followed Paula Stewart up to the QT Wildcats this year and getting a starting spot in the Sapphire Series team, which is great to see.
Oh, great front position by the defender.
Yeah, it's Chloe Cooper there defending well in front of Adams. And, you know, Alicia at 195 centimetres. Pretty hard to defend against,
yeah.
But important to get in front, get good position. That's a lovely feed from Gemma Maimai into Riley Batchelor. Positioned herself well under the post and scores. So Gillian Joyce, as I was saying before, very keen for the Northern Rays today to really value possession. Slow the pace of the Wildcats down as they come down court, but then really value possession once they've got it.
Shot. Fairly close for the first few minutes, Richard.
It is, yeah, absolutely. They're doing the basics very well here, the Northern Rays. And fair to say they'd be underdogs coming into this game, but they're certainly doing the basics well. If they continue to do that for long enough and force errors like that with good defensive pressure, you'll get opportunities.
Richard, how do the Firebirds players go coming back into their HART Series teams?
Yeah, look, it is a bit of a challenge, particularly for Kim with the
long ball
being
there.
aligned to the Northern Rays. They're ball out of court here at the moment, so it's an opportunity for Wildcats here to cash in on that turnover. But we've worked with Rosalie Janke as head coach of the Queensland Firebirds. The players will each do a lovely turnover there from Dupay.
What a turnover from the...
That's great leadership there from the Northern Rays captain, Jacqueline Dupay. Hopefully they can convert this turnover and under shot here. And well done.
Well done. And 4-all.
Yeah.
Yes, look at that
replay
touch.
There. Yeah, so the girls will train either Thursday night with their club side in preparation for the weekend's fixtures. So each SSN player who is playing will get one team session with their club. They'll still, obviously, it's mid-season for the SSN season, so we've still got work to do in terms of preparation and training with the Firebirds. But it's important for them to, and for many of the players playing in the SSN, they're playing with the clubs that they came through with.
Fortunate miss by the goal attack. Looking for a free run through the centre court then. Nice finish for the Cougars on that turnover.
So a couple of new rules that you'll see probably come into effect soon. Kimmy Jenner with a great intercept.
Kimberly Jenner.
We've seen that a few times this year at SSN level, so we'd certainly expect to see it here. Just resetting there. Taylor Crosley back to Jenner, and a lovely pass into Tikatau.
And a good hold by the goal shoot.
Just not quite able to finish it off though. There was a lovely pass from Crosley into the circle, bullet-like pass. Great to see Alita Vave back out on the court. Some of you would remember her as Alita Hukanima, who was in the Firebird squad in 2016. Has now got two beautiful young boys, and it's great to see her back on court.
They've got to work hard to get around Adams, that goal shooter. Lovely linking. Oh, great space by the goal attack.
You'd almost love to see them play advantage there, wouldn't you? But it's
rather, they took the ball back. Yes.
And got the rebound. It's good work from Ariana Wilcoxon there, getting to the top of the circle, getting that ball in to Dupay, who then got the rebound and finished it off. A little bounce pass from Lisa Maimai.
Richard, we're so fortunate to have these games going to our northern regional centres so that our so for example, the Mackay rep players and the rest of the spectators can see this calibre of netball, but also as a pathway, these youngsters can see what they need to do to get to this level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, to be able to, one, for, you know, people watching to be able to see and to relate to, you know, girls that they see around town and around the local courts that are out here contesting today. He's gone for a layup there.
Yeah.
Gets the rebound and,
well
finishes it off. But yeah, to be able to see and realise that, you know, it's not impossible.
Little rush.
Yeah, just overcooked.
Let's see what Rays can do with it. Oh, darn.
And comedy of errors here at the moment. We just need the teams to just settle, find their rhythm. You know, lack of combination here early days in the season too. And, you know, Kim Jenner playing for the Northern Rays hasn't yet had a training session with the Northern Rays. So there'll be some combinations that take a little bit of time to gel.
A miss by the goal shooter and goal shooter in.
Yeah, got the rebound and finished it off. But yeah, so the a number of the girls out here have played in the state rep teams. Ariana Wilcoxon there with the ball now was in the Queensland Country Under-18 side last year. Just a little bit too much on that one. But played in the Queensland Country Under-18 side last year. You've got, ironically, you've got Rachel Fainana and Claudia Philp playing for QT today, who are both from Cairns last year, played for the Marlins last year. Both now moved to Brisbane to pursue university and work, and now playing for QT Wildcats. Would have been great to see them playing for the Northern Rays if we were 12 months earlier.
And I guess that's one of the bonuses of this competition, is that if you're of that calibre player and you move within Queensland, then hopefully you'll get to the team for that university. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, we've got university partnerships across most of the teams and a few that are still in development.
But it's certainly
certainly something we're trying to encourage the clubs to work with the universities, and the universities are very keen to do so. Dora Tuala there, almost stopping the shot, but just conceding the penalty, and Tikatauri converting that one.
Well contested. Every ball. Bit of a wayward placement.
Little errors here. Dora Tuala just waiting for the ball. So Dora played Queensland 21s 3 or 5 years ago, maybe now. I don't want to call Dora too old. It might have only been 3 years ago. Had a couple of years in New Zealand and is now back to Brisbane and playing for QT. She forms quite a formidable defensive end with Lenora Missa when they're both here. As we said earlier, Lenora's away with the Samoan team at the World Cup. That's a lovely pass.
Holding, and they just Wildcats just are feeding that the goal shooter particularly well. Great ball placement. Look.
And again, good vision from Lisa Maimai there. Alicia Adams holding under the post, and
Alicia Adams being quite dominant in the shooting.
Yeah.
Not many shots by Bachelor.
Yeah, no, Alicia's obviously a good target.
Great work, Cooper.
Yeah, Chloe Cooper, great work there with Ariana Wilcoxon as well, providing providing some support.
A little bit messy on that account.
I think I may have been calling Michaela Kadlesic, Ariana Wilcox in there for a while, so apologies for that.
And Wildcats are just out to that 5-goal lead. The umpires are being fairly consistent, which is good to see.
Yeah, and this will be
great front position, Cooper.
Yeah, good work there. And with all the clubs do their pre-season and pre-season testing, and the Northern Rays tested as one of the fittest sides on their yo-yo scores. They have the best average of all the clubs, so they've certainly put in the work. But as we know, you can do a lot of pre-season work, but that match fitness and match intensity is very hard to replicate if you're not familiar with the level of game intensity. And that will be a challenge for the Northern Rays this year as the season goes on, and even as games go on, to be able to stay in the contest, having not had that exposure to that competition.
Yes. And Wildcats just seem to have a touch on a lot of passes. And that little touch is giving them a lot of turnovers.
Another good feed there from Lisa Maimai into Adams, who does the job again.
Nice long ball.
Yeah, just need to, you can just see a little bit of panic from the Northern Rays here. Yes. A lot of overhead passes. A lot of floating passes, which just invite the
They're all
intercept.
over it.
So, you know, Gillian Joyce very keen for them to really value possession. So probably looking to shorten up some of those passes, I would think.
And nice work between the two shooters there from Wildcats.
Yes.
While they were only 5 goals out a little while ago, but now the score is doubled. So
yeah, blowing out a bit.
Nice shot by the goal attack. Lovely technique.
Just over a minute left in the first quarter. That's a lovely combination. Riley Batchelador and Gemma Maimai.
Well done, Kimberley.
A touch from Kimmy. Gemma knocks it over the goal line.
Yeah, Kimberley Jenner's got a hand strap there, so it would be interesting.
Yeah, so Kim had fractured the joint at the base of a little finger about...
lovely turnover in the defensive end.
5 weeks ago. She had surgery and was out for 2 weeks, and has been back for 2 or 3 weeks now playing at the SSN level. So
Kimberley just coming off a player and defending two options. Oh, well done.
It was Dora Tuala there with the intercept.
Great timing. Good use of the top of the circle. Nice safe feed. Now, Richard, there are bonus points with the HART series this year?
There is, yes. So we've adopted a new point structure this year. So
clean shot.
2 points if you win a quarter. So QUT grabbed themselves 2 points there with a 10-goal margin at the end of the first quarter. If you draw the quarter, you share the points, so you get a point each. But to win a game in this competition is worth 10, and if you draw the game, you get 5 each. So trying to ensure that if you draw a quarter, you get a point as well. So, but I think Wildcats will be very happy with the back half of that first quarter. They certainly found their stride. Gillian Joyce have a little bit of work to do here with the Northern Rays just to get their composure.
Great first quarter. Second quarter. Lovely ball placement in the pocket there by Gemma Mackay to her sister. So it looks like the defence end have stayed the same, pretty much the same for the Rays.
Looks like we've got Leah O'Brien on the wing defence for the Northern Rays, and Ariana Wilcoxon has gone off. Oh no, she's moved to centre, and Michaela Kadlesik's moved to wing attack, so everyone's moved forward.
Well, Julian Joyce is talking to those
Taylor Crosley
during
to the bench.
that break. Wildcats are using a lot of the court, really passing that ball around, but oh, what an intercept by Kimberly Jenner. Good vision. Oops. Oh, and a great tip. So Wildcats just taking a little while to feed into their shooters. You look at this, Richard. Oh, just
Halita
a
Varve.
tip to someone. Yes.
She does love the flying intercept. Loves to play off the body and go hunting for that intercept. It's one of the things that Rose Janke loved about her when she came into the Firebird setup.
And there she goes again.
Yeah, wonderful athlete, Halita, or H as she was known. I think she's still only 23 or 24. Apologies, H, if I'm calling you a bit older, but I think she's 23 or 24 now, so still plenty of time left yet for her to have a really good career. Oh, and Rachel Fayanana just
amazing effort then.
Falls over the transverse
That's all
line.
that strength work, core stability, core work that they do in pre-season.
Yeah, Rachel, as I said, Rachel was from Cairns, came down to Brisbane. She was in the Queensland 19s team last year and a training partner this year. You know, so great for her to get that exposure to that level. Certainly a very talented young lady. Would love to see her develop her game further. Gemma looking for options here. Bachelor Door. Lisa getting to the top of the circle.
Bachelor Door is such a moving goal attack as well. Getting out of the circle, being an option. Great patience there by the Rays, bringing that ball down court.
Yeah, happy to just reset it and go back.
Just trying to pierce that Wildcats defence a little bit too much. Rays are very fortunate to have Kimberly Jenner joining them this weekend.
Yeah, and it was optional for all of the SSM players when we first floated the idea about them coming to play, and they were all, you know, very keen to play. So it's great. As I said, a lot of them are playing for the areas or the clubs that they have come up playing for in the past and being coached by some of the same coaches that are involved now.
And just doing that little bit extra this morning, she hosted and delivered a clinic for players in Mackay netball.
Yeah, which is great to see, you know, giving back. And, you know, this competition is all about creating local heroes. It's about providing players, putting players in front of young girls that they can aspire to be.
That 2-on-1 defence down in the circle. Good turnover. Let's get Rays to convert this.
Nice.
Oh, once again. Circle defenders just have pulled that ball in. Bit overcooked. And Richard, this level of competition in terms of pathways, so important for our future Suncorp Super Netball players. Looking at what we see in front of us today, such a pool to look at for the future.
Yeah, it's really important that the underpinning competitions are strong. It doesn't matter what sport you talk about. Anywhere in the world, if a national team is to be strong, the competition underneath that needs to be strong. And equally, if a state team is going to be strong, the state competition needs to be really strong. And so we're really trying to focus on how do we develop that and how do we build that. And it's certainly a challenge for all sports.
Stunned again.
You know, with the increase in professionalism across a lot of the big sports, the gap between elite and another turnover there.
Lovely work by the keeper.
Yeah, the gap between elite and grassroots sport has got bigger and bigger, and one of the objectives of the Sapphire series is to try and bring that back together. How do we connect the elite? Kimmy Jenner with a great touch.
And I was just about to say that we weren't really attempting or working on first ball, and then Kimberly did that.
Great work.
Lovely placement there by the goal attack.
Yeah. And good to see that work rewarded. They convert the turnover.
Look at the height here on that jump.
For a bit of
vertical jump. Ooh.
Quick injury timeout. A bit of blood, I think, on the leg.
That was for Cooper.
Quick sub. Just trying to get a handle on who's coming. Chloe Fredrickson from Cairns coming on to goalkeeper, and Chloe Cooper off. Yeah, it looks like a blood. Physio working on there, working on her over there. And a physio coming onto the court in Chloe Fredrickson as well.
Oh,
great touch
great
again.
Front position.
Leah O'Brien getting a touch on that one. Adams just holding under the post there and bringing that in. Rays have just got to work really hard here to consolidate. Try and minimise their error rate. Play nice, short, sharp netball. Maintain possession.
Fourth shot for the Rays for this quarter.
Oh, a little step there from Adams. Don't see that a lot, but it does happen.
No, you don't.
Oh, and good reach there.
Sometimes it's those little 1%ers.
Yeah.
Great defensive pressure.
Love
short
seeing
passes.
the attacking end defend. I'm a fan of that. Oh, nasty bounce for Dupay. But she does get it back.
Nice safe option
top
on the
of the
circle edge.
Exactly, yeah. And Dupay
Lovely
finishes
technique.
it. So back-to-back goals there, I think, for the Rays. And a chance to make it 3 here if they can maintain
Yeah, they
that.
are struggling to convert from their centre passes.
Which is fundamental, you know. Anyone that's going to have any team that's going to be successful needs to.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, 3 goals on the trot for the Rays. Great work. Haven't seen the coaches use a timeout yet, but
No.
if the
It's
Rays
an
score a
unlikely
4th
miss.
here, the Paula Stewart may go to the tactical timeout. So both teams get the opportunity to have 1 tactical timeout each per half in this game, in this competition. Slightly different to the Suncorp Super Netball where they get 1, each team gets 1 per quarter.
Oh, she's
Gemma
got taken.
Just got bumped there.
Netball's changed a little bit over the ages, Richard. Used to be a non-contact sport.
Yeah, certainly not the case any longer.
Oh,
A great
lovely shot
from Dupay and right on cue.
Yes.
Paula Stewart goes for the tactical timeout after the Rays have just scored 4 consecutive goals. So no surprises there. That's generally how the coaches use it in the SSN competition as well. Just to try and halt momentum. Just regroup, recalibrate. And try and, it's as much about disrupting the team that's on a roll as it is about doing anything with your own team.
And the Wildcats were doing quite well and led for a while in that quarter. And now I think that it's about 8-7 for the quarter.
For the Northern Rays. Could be a bonus point on the offering here for them.
Possibly.
I'm glad you wrote the score down there at quarter time, because I was it 19-9 or 19-10?
I thought it was 19-10.
19-10. We're getting the nod of approval from our executive producer over here, Lewis. That's the end of our timeout. Team's a little bit tardy here. They don't want to upset the umpires, being a bit late back on court. And we've got another change here with, it looks like Rachel Mullane coming on, who was called in at the last moment actually to replace Caitlin Nevins, who unfortunately was hospitalised on Thursday with a bit of a stomach complaint. So Caitlin Nevins was to be playing in the Northern Rays team as well. And hopefully we might see Katie at some stage during this World Cup break.
Sneaky pass back to the centre.
And just what Paula Stewart would have wanted was to get that first goal after the break.
Yes, lovely ball control then.
So we'll see if Northern Rays can maintain
Oh,
how they were playing. And I've
bit
put the
too
mock
much
on
on
them.
it.
Yeah, good defensive pressure again. They're doing what Gillian Joyce wanted them to do, is to
Yes.
slow the ball down through court. Kashia Grant on for Wildcats here at wing attack as well. Lisa Maimai off, I think. Yes, Lisa Maimai having a having a rest.
Yes.
And you'll see a lot of the coaches doing that.
A dynamo.
Yeah, experienced player. He's come across from New Zealand, having played a lot of netball in New Zealand, come across to join Wildcats this year. Just add some experience to the Wildcats mid-court.
And finished off. Richard, I noticed that our Rubies coach for the Southwood Sunday Sharks is sitting on the bench with the Northern Rays as assistant coach.
Yeah.
So that will take place for when the Rays play in Townsville and Cairns.
Yeah, the idea is with the way the competitions are set up, you've got the Northern Rays here with 3 underpinning teams in the Marlin Coast Marlins, the Magnetic North Steel Cats and the Southwood Sunday Sharks. So each of those coaches are encouraged to be part of the Northern Rays setup and support. I think the 6 or 7 of the girls in the Northern Rays team are based in Cairns, and Zoe McIntyre based here locally in Mackay, and the balance of the team, the other 5 or 6 in Townsville. So it's a challenging coaching situation for Gillian Joyce with players spread from Mackay to Cairns. And the only way to really manage it is to have a really good satellite coach network.
Wally's one on one. Oh, what a
Kalita
steal.
steals that one. Just picked a pocket. Good collision there between the 2 former Marlins teammates in Rachel Fainana and Chloe Fredrickson.
Look at that give and go by Grant.
That's a
clean shot.
Lovely shot from Riley Batchelador. Just stepped on there and a good pass.
Great vision. Rays have only scored 1 goal since that tactical timeout, and Wildcats have put on 6.
Yeah, it certainly turned this quarter around. You know, the Wildcats leading the quarter now 14-8 after being in front at that break. So tactical masterstroke from the wily Paula Stewart.
Oh, excellent defence.
3 seconds
good turnover. Well done, goal defender.
Yeah, Chloe Fredrickson doing a great job there. Putting pressure on Gemma Maimai. Unfortunately, Kimmy Jenner and Leah O'Brien just not able to finish that off and the ball over the sideline. So Wildcats get another opportunity here. That's Lador. It's almost like it's on repeat. It was what she did last week.
I'd like to see her shooting stats. They should be in the high 90s.
I would think so.
It was great rotation and swap of players from the defenders. Well done.
Chloe Fredrickson read that really well, timed the movement. Picked off that intercept. Just a little bit of hesitation there from Rachel Mullane. Fredrickson was there, the first option, and she didn't go there and went back to Kimmy Jenner, but they've still got it.
Well, I think Wildcats definitely are getting the bonus points for this quarter.
Yes, absolutely. And looks like we're down to 0 on our clock. Here we go. There's the end of the second quarter. It's half time, and the Wildcats have certainly, in the last portion of that quarter, grabbed the bonus point to go into the break, leading 34-18. So certainly a better quarter from the Northern Rays there, but plenty of work to do here at half time to try and stay resilient and stay in the game. They've shown in patches that they can compete and just need to do that for longer periods of time. Got some stats coming through now at half time. So obviously 34-18.
Look at that centre pass conversion.
Yeah, critical
difference.
Critical statistic that, you know, you when you get the ball, you've got to get it done. You know, at 81%, that's about a benchmark. If you're not winning too many games at less than high 70s or 80%.
And look at the turnovers are very similar, and we've seen that.
Yeah.
Ball, bit like watching a tennis match at times. But still, the turnover conversion is also a difference there. And look at the shooting stats.
Yeah, that's the game breaker, isn't it? You know, if you're looking at all those other stats there, and I would assume that some of those centre pass conversions are highly linked to the shooting percentages and not getting the rebounds, or and you know, you need to be shooting at 90% plus. You know, I think when I first got involved with the sport a few years ago, shooters were happy to be shooting at 85. We've certainly seen in the SSN over the last number of years the top 3 or 4 shooters are at 90 plus. You know, we had Gretel Tippett this year, shot back-to-back 100% games at 40 goals each, 40 and 41. I think she shot 100 in a row there through 3 rounds, which was quite phenomenal. So it's been you've got to be up there. You get your chances, you've got to score.
So it's I noticed that in the quarter break that both Hillary and Paula, assistant and coach for the Wildcats, have been talking to their shooters and to their mid-court, whereas I could see Julian Joyce was speaking to her centre court.
She spent a lot of time with the centre court, didn't she? And now having a chat to the defenders. And Jules Pankless having a chat to the mid-court now. So always interesting with the multiple coaching setup, and you hope that they're saying similar things. You'd also hope that they're asking the players some questions and getting their views on what's happening out there and how they're going to solve it, because ultimately they are the ones that have to solve it once they get out there. So
problem solvers on court.
Yeah.
I wonder if Cooper will be back out on court.
Yeah, we'll have a look. It doesn't. Well, they're all bibbed up. They're all coming out. So let's have a look. Any changes for the Wildcats? It looks like Lara Turner's come on at wing defence. So Lara getting called up from the Ruby Series team, getting an opportunity today. And
that would be the Wildcats wing attackers.
Lara's on at wing defence.
Oh, wing defence.
Wing defence for the QT Wildcats.
Wildcats.
It looks like Lisa Maimai's still off. Rachel Fainana's off at the moment.
And Grant's at wing attack.
Yeah, Keisha Grant at wing attack. So the clubs all over the next.
And a miss.
Rebound and a miss. And
great hands there, Kimberly Jenner.
Great work from Kim and Chloe under the post. Or a little bump there from Keisha Grant.
Shutting down that ball.
Got it back. Oh, we've thrown it away.
Bad pass.
Ketlesic with a loose pass there straight into the arms of Gemma Maimai. Unfortunately unable to convert that turnover that they just earned.
Adams holds that space so well.
A couple of misses though.
Good work.
As we saw at a 92% shooting conversion, they don't miss too often, so it's really important for the Rays to try and take advantage of those 2 misses.
Yes.
And hopefully Jacqueline Dupay does the job and gets them on the board for the second half.
It's a long centre pass.
That was.
First centre pass, a minute and a half.
Just resetting it. Batchelor, thought she'd almost shoot from there the way she's been going.
Lovely mid-range shot.
Probably could have.
Both shooters
Joy
out.
Tuala gets a touch on that. And which way goes for Wildcats, that one. And Kimmy Jenner, good front position, gets a touch on that one. Not quite able to reel it in though. And again, there she is.
When they're setting up with the 2 on Adams, it's a high likelihood of that turnover. Oh, touch.
Just loose hands there. Michaela Kadlesic just not able to reel that pass in, unfortunately. Sorry, Ariana Wilcoxon. I keep getting those two mixed up. My apologies. That's a lovely pass.
Just missed it. I think, and off the shot. Good rebound by Adams. Gee, we're just in our 4th minute and 4 goals in 4 minutes.
Yeah, a few missed shots in the Alicia Adams just getting the yips, you'd say, a little bit there for the start of this second half. But I'm sure she's been around this game long enough, she'll be able to quickly
clean shot
regain her composure and get back on. Oh, Kimmy with another one.
Great timing, decision making on that.
Little contest there with Gemma Mai. Don't often see them coming up against each other, given the positions they play, but.
And what an opportunity for all the teams to be playing with the Firebirds or an Suncorp Super Netball player in your team.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, hopefully what it does do is just reinforce that they're human. They're 2 arms and 2 legs like everyone else, and if you work hard enough at your game, you can potentially achieve what they have. And I think it's also good, particularly the Firebirds this year. We've had a very tough year, and I'm sure the
lovely shot by goal shooter.
Girls that are playing in this competition are probably enjoying it too. Just away from the spotlight a little bit and being able to just come out and play. Now, we do forget how young some of these players are. Kim only recently turned 21. Gemma's 23, but the Tara Hinchliffe 21, and they're in the bright spotlight of the SSN and everything that goes with that. So to be able to get away from that for a little while and just play their netball, I'm sure they're enjoying that.
Just swinging that ball.
Almost. And they've got it. They've got it.
Ball.
Yeah, Northern Rays with a turnover here.
Pressure on feeding the shooters.
Yeah. Let's see if they can just compose themselves down court. Ensure they've got a couple of options.
Stepping call.
They're the sort of errors you just don't need to be making it when you get those opportunities. Yep. Just got interfered with a little bit as she was going through, almost by her own player. Couldn't hold her feet. And the good sides, as Wildcats have just done, they'll make you pay for those errors. And a tactical timeout here to Gillian Joyce, which good timing, I think. The game is slipping away a bit here. They need to try and regain some composure and back to basics. Her key focus was at the start of the game to try and slow that ball down through the court and to really value possession when they've got it, and probably not quite ticking either of those boxes at the moment.
Well, Wildcats have just, this quarter is 7-3 to Wildcats, so quite a slow start. And we've got some changes taking place on the court.
Yeah. I mean, the upside for Northern Rays is that, yes, it's only 7-3. We're nearly halfway through the quarter. And it's only 7-3, which, yeah, a lot of turnovers, so not a lot of goals scored. But the upside there is they can still win the quarter. They're only a couple of turnovers out of it. And Paula Stewart there just getting into calming the shooting circle down a little bit.
Some changes in perhaps Rays.
Yeah, Taylor Crosley back on.
Zoe McIntyre,
local hero, getting a rousing.
The home crowd is pretty excited.
Rousing reception from the local Mackay girls here. Zoe takes the court for the first time.
Oh.
8-goal shooter.
Just slowing the feed down.
And we've got Chloe Cooper back on at the other end.
Great hands.
Has an impact straight away. So got all three defenders out there now with Cooper, Fredrickson and Jenner across the defensive line. And Wilcoxon is off. Kadlesic to... No, I've done it again. Wilcoxon to centre, Kadlesic off. Taylor Crosley back on to
coming out of the
wing
circle.
attack. Oh, and a bump. I don't think we've got any changes for the Wildcats after that break. No.
Using Kimberly and Jenner a few times just to throw back to reset.
Yeah.
And again, a third time.
And it's certainly not a bad option. It's a style of play that's come more and more into the SSN level. Yeah, Nolene Tarua with the Lightning do it a lot. The Swifts are also doing it a lot this year. Just resetting and then attacking again, giving themselves more options, giving themselves a bit more time, which is, I believe, slightly different to how the game's traditionally been played, but certainly proving very effective for both those sides, sitting, I think, first and second on the
lovely balance there
SSN
by Grant. Oh, awesome intercept. And attacking in the defensive role. Good turning to the post, as you would want a shooter to do. And a finish.
Very good. Depay was really impressive in the pre-season tournament that we played back in May with all 7 teams coming together at the Queensland State Netball Centre. With
stay on.
Northern Rays recording a couple of wins over, I think it was Cougars and Wildcats at that event, and Depay was certainly led the way. Zoe McIntyre out of the circle here.
Cougars defenders quite formidable, making it difficult. Wow, awesome footwork
lovely pass
by Grant.
Adams misses again. Jenner gets the rebound.
Good use around the post.
Resets again. Wilcoxon to the top of the circle. Feeds
well
Depay.
taken.
And a bit short, that one. Gemma steps on there and got away with that one.
Lovely persistence by the wing defender. Oh.
Chloe Cooper down again. She's up again.
Lovely balance. She balanced
No,
much
no,
better. Not sure about feeding the shooter from that, quite
unlucky.
in that position.
No, it was a bit of a Hail Mary pass, that one, when no other options on, and you've got a nice tall shooter. Just throw it up there.
Oh,
And they've turned
bit
it
of
over here.
indecisiveness there.
Yeah, good defensive pressure from the Northern Rays.
Yes.
Disrupting the flow down
well
court,
taken,
and
Zoe.
McIntyre with her first shot. And the crowd erupts behind us. It's great to have a local hero playing out there, and the young Mackay netballers here, as I said before, all getting ready for Nissan State Age next weekend. Applauding their local hero in Zoe McIntyre. And they go long in. Oh, it was actually a great...
Some creative netball there as well.
Yeah. I think Jacqueline was probably half a step ahead of her teammates there. They weren't expecting that pass to come back.
Oh, clean shot.
That's Lador again. Remarkable confidence from Riley Batchelor-Dor, 17-year-old, as I said before, captain of the Queensland 17s this year, nationally talent ID. Has been away to the AIS for a camp about a month ago now, and was really impressive down there as well. Just has great composure, great leadership. Plays well beyond the years.
Yes. And often you have shooters, developing shooters, wanting to know. Not a good choice there in pass placement.
No.
You have young shooters thinking that, you know, they could be at that level, and when they get to see how consistent that they're shooting and the sort of defenders you've got to work with, not as easy as it seems.
No, and that's another thing that many people are seeing with the way the game's changing. With the SSN level competition really being an entertainment product now, there's a direction to allow, or to have less whistle in the game. So the defenders are certainly getting away.
Lovely shot.
Defenders are getting away with a lot more, so it's the games are really physical, and it's a challenge for the shooters.
Okay, so here's a turnover to the Northern Rays, and let's see if they can convert.
Just stayed in the court, but then threw
turnover, and they have it back again.
And another turnover. Those turnover stats are going to be high again for the third quarter. The conversion rate not quite so high, but plenty of turnovers, plenty of opportunities. And Lisa Maimai back on court now.
At centre.
And replacing big sister. Gemma Maimai off to the bench for a little rest. There's,
another turnover for Wildcats. Well done.
Yeah, the Northern Rays are just 40-odd seconds left, and another turnover off the centre pass. It's just fundamental errors there. To not even get your centre pass to the top of the circle is that's a coach killer. I'm sure there's some frustrations over there. And a shout out to the Northern Rays assistant coach, who I did leave out before. It was Kelly Hines from Cairns, who Kelly's just got back from overseas today, so she's not here in Mackay with us, but she'll be with the team for the remainder of the season.
Great hands over pressure.
Contact. Call on Jacqueline Dupay, and that's time. Three-quarter time, 48-24, so 24-goal lead to the Wildcats in that quarter.
14-6.
14-6 to the Wildcats in that quarter, so starting to get away now. Well, Head coach Gillian Joyce wanted their key word today for the Northern Rays was resilience. Well, I think that's going to be tested going into this fourth quarter to try and ensure that they stay in this game and keep competing in the final quarter.
So umpire's just given a 10-minute warning whistle for the final quarter. And Richard, what I really like, I was away last week, but I was able to catch up and watch some of the games yesterday. Great, great to have the facility of streaming these games throughout Queensland.
And overseas. We had,
and overseas.
Yeah, we've got, because one of the really positive things with the Sapphire series, and a couple of turnovers again to start the fourth quarter, we've got players in this competition from England, South Africa, New Zealand and Australia. So we've got, you know, their family and friends and clubs.
That's not a good look for Kimberly
Oh,
Jenner.
no. Yeah, right.
Oh, sneaky, but not quite.
Right. Kim Jenner, a little fall. Hopefully she's okay. But yeah, we've got, you know, clubs and coaches and people all over the world watching these games, which is, again, a great opportunity for these young players to put themselves out there, to get an opportunity to play in New Zealand or play in the UK, the Vitality Super League.
Oh, lovely intercept. Fredrickson. Oh, darn. And I guess if you had from a coaching point of view, even umpiring point of view, having your mentors can actually see you in action.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love the idea of the live stream, so you can watch it live, but you know, people can go in and watch the game later on and go back to it and have a look at it.
It's a shame that didn't go in.
Yeah, we're going to have a little substitution here. Kimmy Jenner, I think, going off here very shortly, and obviously get the physio to have a look at that. She's moving quite well. But
no, there goes change in the wing
different
defence with a rolling sub.
Might be a dual change potentially here, I'd say. Chloe Fredrickson going to come on at goal defence. So
yes,
here we go. Kimmy J off. Chloe Fredrickson on to goal defence. Go and have a quick word to the physio. Hopefully nothing serious.
Oh, not quite.
And Zoe McIntyre just misses there over the top. Still contact. Penalty there. Keisha Grant at the top of the circle. Swings it across to Lisa Maimai.
Good hands over. Look at that.
Good
Oh,
pressure.
lovely pulling in of the ball.
Ariana
Taking it down that centre
defence
channel.
now.
Yeah. So that's one thing I've noticed is such a, probably more last weekend than this weekend's game, is the variety of passes.
Yeah, which is great to see. You know, the players have got options. But at the end of the day, you do need to shoot and score once you get it down there, which is what the Rays haven't really done today. They've forced plenty of turnovers, but just been unable to convert the turnovers or their centre passes at a rate that's going to keep them competitive in this competition.
I think even that full court defence, there's been a number of balls where there's one, but no hands over, no contest of the first ball. But I think it also reflects the speed that the Wildcats take that ball down court you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, well, it's catch-22, isn't it? You know, if you don't slow the ball down, the defenders down court have got no chance because it's coming at them like a tidal wave. So they can't, the circle defenders can't do their job when the ball's coming quickly down court.
Oh,
and she's human. She did miss.
My goodness.
Hands over here from Bachelor, applying a bit of pressure.
Oh, lovely ball handling skills on that one.
Picked that one up.
Oh,
and
on the post. Not quite where she thought.
No. And that'll the combinations. It's a difficult situation for the Rays with players spread across the three cities. Hard for them to spend a lot of time training together. You know, it is an advantage that the Brisbane and coastal teams have got where they can train twice a week together. The Rays, at best, will get one session a week together, which they won't always be able to do either. So that is a challenge, particularly in trying to build those combinations.
Oh, nice finish by Adams.
And the Northern Rays management working very hard to try and find ways to fund travel for the players so they can train together more often. But it's an expensive activity, as anyone that lives in North Queensland knows. Those domestic flights between the major cities are very expensive. And the distances are just that 4 hours as it is between all the major cities up here. It's a long drive for a training session to then turn around and drive back. So it is a challenge, and certainly the management team of the Rays are trying to find ways and find partners and find support in North Queensland to make sure that these young ladies get the opportunities.
Good force of error there. Ball placement not quite where. And a turnover. Oh, great contest, goal defender.
I see Kimmy Jenner back on the bench over there now after spending a little bit of time with the physio, not seeing any ice packs or anything. So
a bit long.
Hopefully that's all okay. Oh, just...
Rays are really using that 3 seconds to hold on to the ball, whereas Cougars are normally letting go a lot faster. Sorry, Wildcats. Yeah. Wildcats are letting go a lot faster.
Good shot there from Princess Tikatawi from Cairns, who's come on now, Jacqueline Dupre.
It's the colour of the uniform.
Yeah, the colours last week, as you said, were very confusing with Cougars and Wildcats. There's a lot of red, which on their designs didn't look quite so similar, but when the dresses were made, they're actually quite similar.
So, Richard, in this competition, the teams only play each other once?
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah, so home and away, essentially.
Oh, great outside
great
arm and then pull in. I hope our rep players were able to see that.
Yes, good position. Good defence. Yeah, so home and away, full home and away season.
Yes,
7
look
teams.
at that. Outside arm,
and got it
pull
back.
in, steady, good
Textbook,
vision. Yes.
you'd say. And Kimmy Jenner back on court
she's
now.
back on court.
Great to see. And Chloe Fredrickson about to come back on as well. They're doing a little three-way shuffle here to Gillian Joyce to get the players back on court she wants.
That tall defensive end has worked well for them.
It has, yeah.
And a nice finish off. So, partway through the final quarter, and 8-3.
And another turnover.
And last week, Wildcats were a little bit slow in their finishing of their last quarter.
They were, yeah. Cougars fought back in that game last week. And Wildcats actually had the game, I thought, had control of the game at three-quarter time. And Cougars, through their, not surprisingly, Cougars, a very experienced side, fought back in the final quarter.
A timeout call.
Timeout from Paula Stewart. I think you'll find that we'll see a few of her younger players about to come on, I suspect. I think Annie Laurie might be coming into the shooting circle. Cairns product Claudia Philp, who's now studying at University of Queensland in Brisbane, coming on to play in the defensive circle, and maybe Lara Turner back on after a brief stint in the second quarter. And you can see some great theatrics there from the QUT Wildcats S&C coach Sam Joseph.
He's got some good dance moves.
Yeah, good dance
there.
moves. So probably doesn't realise he's on camera, Big Sam, but that's okay.
I noticed Sam was involved in leading the warm-up for the girls. Yeah,
really good operator. And it's one of the appointments. All the clubs have a strength and conditioning coach who has got a set position description and minimum salary role with the club. So really important, as we've been talking about, the physicality of the game is such these days that we need to assist the players to be ready for that level. So yeah, Sam's done a great job. He's really well qualified. He's developed a really good rapport with the players and does a fantastic job. So we come back out of that tactical timeout for a Wildcats centre pass, and have we got some changes? Yeah, Claudia Philp on to goal defence. Riley Batchelor's gone off, and Annie Laurie here from the Gold Coast.
Clean
Annie,
shot.
Annie nails her first shot. Well done, Annie Laurie. Annie was a training partner for the Queensland 19s this year, and actually played as an import player for the Northern Territory at the National Championship. So gained some valuable experience, and
awesome
she'll be bottom age athlete, so she'll be in the 19s mix again next year. Cool.
Knows the defensive end very much on that one-on-one.
Yeah. And Lara Turner on to wing defence for Wildcats as well.
Oops, bit short.
Gemma Maimai. No, Gemma's still out there. We've got Helida Vave having a break, along with Rachel Fainana and Keisha Grant having a breather. Well earned. No, Taylor Crosley didn't like the first option. Great
nice
pass.
Fast release there, Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe McIntyre.
And a good finish. Well done.
And Princess scores there, which is good to see. Watch this quick release from Zoe.
And so different, considering all the tips the goalkeepers had all day. Just a nice split between the two.
A tough start here for the Northern Rays today. I think, QT Wildcats last week showed they're going to be very competitive in this competition with that draw against perennial champions, the Brisbane North Cougars. So tough tough initiation for the Northern Rays today, but certainly signs there that if they can hang on to the ball for extended periods
Nice
of
hold
time,
by Zoe. Yes,
they
lovely
can be
shot by
competitive.
goal shooter.
Yeah, they've forced enough turnovers today through their defensive pressure that if they can start to work on converting those,
There's another one.
there we go. They could be quite a handful for some of the teams in the Sapphire series. But we don't want to be doing that though, do
Pass. Oh, great pickup by Mackay.
Lisa Mackay, yeah.
Oh, both Mackays are on court.
Yeah. Certainly different, the two Maimays, but you can certainly tell they're sisters. Both explosively quick.
Oh, who was that to?
Pass to no one. Replay there, Crosley. It's always tough this part of the game when the game's gone, and you know, even the quarter is going to be a hard fight for the Northern Rays to try and get some points out of this quarter. So trying to maintain that intensity right through to the end, always a challenge for any athlete. But valuable lessons to be learned here from the Rays. So it'll be interesting to see how they review and debrief this game. What are the processes they were focused on,
Yes.
and how do they evaluate that? 2.5 minutes to go here, and the Northern Rays debut in the Sapphire series. Kimmy Jenner pulls that one in, a high
They got
centre
that
pass.
2-on-1 defence in the circle.
Zoe,
Oh, good placement.
great work from
Lovely.
McIntyre. And
And a
scores.
finish. Well done.
And the crowd erupt again, the local hero.
Oh, almost home alone.
Yeah, back-to-back goals, or not back-to-back, sorry.
Back goals, but
Alicia scored in between, I think. It was very quick, though. The consecutive goals off centre passes for the Rays, which is good.
oh, just in her fingertips and the way she pulls it in. It's lovely. But they're converting from their centre passes.
Yep.
And maybe that was the goal for the last.
Yeah,
Oh,
and again.
good placement, and goalkeeper from Wildcats definitely times that jump.
Yeah, good player, Dora. Dora Tuala.
Oh, ball
Kimmy J
and
with another
intercept.
intercept.
Great work. What a way to start the last minute.
Oh. Still smiling. There she goes.
Look at that.
And
Up time.
Yep. 30 seconds to go here. Be great to see the Northern Rays finish with a. See if we can turn one over here. And she
Yes,
is again.
the touch.
Yeah. Righto.
It's time enough to
Can they get it
possibly
down court?
score 2 more goals.
Yeah.
Oh, great front position.
Gemma Maimai, good position there. Knocks it over the sideline,
I'm
make
sure
it a little bit
Rose
harder.
Jenke would be happy with how the girls have played today.
I hope so. I hope Rose is watching.
Lovely height. Oh, unfortunate.
Sure she'll be critiquing my commentary, no doubt. I'll hear all about it next week. And that's the end of the Northern Rays QUT Wildcats round 2 clash here from Mackay Stadium.
So Wildcats won every quarter there,
Yeah.
Richard. So that means they get.
They'll get 18 points from that weekend. So 10 for the win and 2 points for a quarter, which seem like big numbers, but every team is 18 points available per game. So The numbers are bigger than traditionally what we're used to with a 4-point win, but
and a loss is 0.
A loss is still worth 0. Yes,
okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, no points if you don't win anything. Unfortunately, but yes. So Wildcats 18, so they move well top of the table at this stage, with the other 2 games of this round to be played on Tuesday night at the Queensland State Netball Centre at 6 p.m. and 7:40. So a couple of big games there. Bull Sharks, Bond University Bull Sharks have the bye this weekend. So we have, I'm going to go from memory here now. It's USC Thunder versus Jets, I think, at 6 o'clock, and then Brisbane North Cougars against Tigers. Oh, other way around. I've got it wrong. Carina Leagues Club Tigers and USC Thunder at 6. And Cougars and Jets at 7:40.
In round 3, Rays will be heading to Brisbane.
Yeah, Northern Rays head to Brisbane next weekend for their first game, which will be against Jets in Brisbane. And the QT Wildcats have a bye next weekekend, so they'll enjoy the weekend off.
Just going back to Tuesday's game between Jets and Cougars, that could be a well-contested game. Jets won last week.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. And both those teams have got a number of players that have played in the recently concluded Australian Netball League. So we're across both the Queensland Fusion team and the Northern Territory Storm, which are the underpinning team to the Sunshine Coast Lightning. So it was almost 2 Queensland teams playing in the Australian Netball League, which is great for netball in Queensland. And both those 2 teams, Jets and Cougars, make up a lot of those players that played in those 2 teams. So be interesting. It'll be a really good game. It'll be a really high quality game next week, and both those clubs probably haven't had as much time together as they would have liked with all of their players. So those combinations may take a couple of weeks to gel, but I'm sure the calibre of the players there, that'll be a good game.
So if I can't get to the Queensland State Netball Centre, I just need to
You need to jump online. Yeah, www.sapphireseries.com.au. 6 p.m. Tuesday and 7:40 p.m. Tuesday night this week. And you can watch those games live.
Other than that, I get to see my Rays team play next weekend.
You will.
Jets.
Against the Jets, yeah. Again, live, you'll be able to watch the live stream of that. It'll, yeah, get on board and watch that and encourage all of your friends to watch it. And the best wishes to all the Mackay netball rep teams and all the rep teams around Queensland who will converge on Pine Rivers from Saturday next weekend to participate in the Nissan State Age Championships, the biggest and best state age ever, surpassing last year's at Ipswich, where we had 254 teams. This year we're up to 260. So massive event over 4 days. So best of luck to all the associations and their representative teams next weekend.
Do you have any many regional teams going down? Any particularly maybe from our North Queensland?
Absolutely, there always is. I think last year from memory, and I think the numbers are similar this year, just over 40 teams from north of Gladstone heading down to play. And I think this year we've got a team from Mount Isa, which is the first time in quite a while, which is great news. So wishing them all the best next weekend as well. Thanks for joining us today, and we will sign off here from the Mackay Basketball Stadium and look forward to seeing you all again on Tuesday night.
Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, Trish.